Hi, this is Torah 411 channel, and we go through the Bible looking at verses and trying to put things within context. The verse we're looking at today is Exodus 23:19, and it says, "Bring the best of the first fruits of your soil to the house of the Lord your God. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk." Now, Exodus 23:19 is not about putting cheese on a hamburger, as many think, or anything like that. In fact, this verse should actually read, "Bring the best of the first fruits of your soil to the house of the Lord. Do not even wait until the young goat is weaned from its mother's milk." So this Hebrew phrase or this verse has nothing to do with eating or cooking meat. Instead, it should be understood as a poetic way of expressing the requirement to bring the firstborn animals to God as soon as possible and not waiting even until it's weaned from its mother's milk. A lot of people in Orthodox Judaism believe it's about cooking meat and milk together, or eating meat that was cooked with milk, or receiving any benefit from such a concoction of meat and milk together. So this is a gross misinterpretation of the verse. Again, it has nothing to do with putting cheese on a hamburger, drinking milk with meat, or anything like that. So what does boiling a kid in its mother's milk have to do with sacrifice or first fruit offerings? Most traditional commentaries ignore this problem and focus on a traditional explanation of the passage and the prohibition of cooking and consuming meat and milk together. And the verse has nothing to do with cooking a kid in its mother's milk or cooking milk or meat together whatsoever. It's about first fruits and when to bring the first fruits to God. What this verse is saying is not to wait for the kid to grow up and be weaned from its mother's milk. In other words, bring it for sacrifice as soon as possible. This fits the context of the verse and the context of the first fruits offering. The best animals were to be given to God as soon as possible and not to be kept for ourselves. That's what this verse is about. You can research this for yourself or whatever. We're not trying to force any doctrine on anyone. We're trying to explain Bible verses in context, and they need to be understood in the context in which they were written. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring the real meaning out and put some of the false meanings to rest. I hope we've cleared up this verse for you, and until next time, shalom.